Have you ever walked past a pile of fallen branches and thought they were nothing but waste? Today, I'll show you how those forgotten pieces of wood can become magical centerpieces that transform your garden into a real-life fairy tale. From spiral towers to whimsical arches, these rustic sculptures are easier to create than you might imagine. Welcome to Backyard Fortune, a place where simple ideas grow into enchanting designs. This video includes timestamps, so feel free to explore at your own pace. And if something sparks your curiosity, leave a comment below. If you enjoy what you see, try recreating it with your own hands. You might be surprised at the beauty you can create. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind this content, there's a real story and a real family. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, it truly matters. When you subscribe, you're not just helping a channel grow. You're helping a dream stay alive, one click at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. One fairy archway from painted dry branches. What if the forgotten branches in your backyard could open a door to another world? Look closer at this archway, woven from dry twigs, painted in pastel shades of mint green, sky blue, and pale pink. At first glance, it seems delicate, almost whimsical, but the structure is surprisingly strong. The secret lies in choosing branches with natural curves, tying them firmly together with twine, and letting climbing roses or ivy weave through. Over time, the plants do the decorating for you, softening every line with blooms and fragrance. Some archways glow brightest in the afternoon sun, when painted branches catch the light and shadows of morning glories dance across the grass. Others feel like hidden fairytale doors, decorated with ribbons and wildflowers, leading into a tunnel of blossoms. Imagine walking beneath them, hearing the gentle hum of bees, butterflies drifting around, the path underfoot lined with cobblestones or gravel. It feels less like a DIY project and more like stepping into a storybook. Creating one doesn't require perfection. In fact, it's the little irregularities, the twist of a branch, the uneven paint, that make the archway look alive. If you have limited space, even a small version at the entrance to a vegetable bed or herb corner can transform your garden. Start with sturdy twigs, add a splash of color, and let nature handle the rest. Each season brings new beauty: spring blossoms, summer shade, autumn vines glowing gold. A simple archway becomes more than decoration. It becomes a threshold, one that invites you, your family, and your friends to pause, breathe, and believe, if only for a moment, that gardens really can hold a touch of magic. Two, rustic twig pergola with hanging lanterns. Imagine sitting beneath a canopy woven from nothing more than branches and imagination. At first glance, the pergola seems rustic, thick wooden posts lashed with rope, a roof made of slender twigs letting sunlight stream through in broken patterns. But then your eyes travel upward, and you notice the lanterns. Some are painted in bright shades of red, blue, and green, cheerful in daylight like jewels scattered in the air. Others are recycled jars glowing softly at dusk, filling the garden with golden light as evening settles in. The secret to creating this magic is not complicated. Start with strong branches that can serve as posts. Tie them firmly with natural rope or twine, and don't be afraid of a little imperfection. Nature never grows in straight lines. Across the roof, weave thinner twigs, leaving spaces where sunlight can dance. Then comes the charm, hang lanterns of your own making. Tin cans painted in playful colors, mason jars with fairy lights tucked inside, or any recycled container given new life with a splash of creativity. Over time, let vines climb freely around the structure. Morning glories, ivy, or climbing roses will weave themselves into the frame, softening the wood with living green. And beneath it, you can place a bench, a table, or simply a space to pause. It becomes more than a shelter, it is a retreat. A place to sip tea while butterflies drift nearby, or to watch as evening turns your garden into a glowing fairytale stage. It doesn't take expensive tools or expert hands to build something like this. Just patience, a willingness to play with what nature offers, and a touch of color to make it your own. And the reward is immense. A pergola that is not only functional but also a story woven into the very heart of your garden. Three, miniature fairy bridge from twisted twigs. Sometimes the smallest details in a garden hold the greatest magic. A simple bridge, woven from dry twigs, can turn an ordinary corner into a fairytale crossing. Look at how these curved branches, tied together with rope and painted in soft pastels, arch gracefully over a stream of pebbles. Moss and ferns gather at the base, while butterflies dance in the dappled light. It feels less like a structure and more like an invitation, a gentle step into another world. Making one doesn't require heavy tools or great skill. Gather twigs of similar thickness, bend them carefully into shape, and secure them with twine. The walkway can be as simple as aligned sticks or as playful as painted planks in lavender, mint, or pale blue. Place it over a shallow bed of stones, or even across a flower patch, and watch how the space transforms. Suddenly, your garden has a story to tell, one that shifts with every season. The beauty lies in its scale. A miniature bridge doesn't need to be grand, it only needs to spark imagination. Children might see it as a crossing for fairies. Adults may find it a resting place for the mind, a symbol of connection between what is ordinary and what is possible. Even birds will perch along its rails, completing the picture of a living, breathing fairy tale. It is proof that with just branches, patience, and a touch of color, you can build not just a bridge of twigs, but a bridge of wonder. Four, whimsical twig chandelier with mason jar lights. As daylight softens and the garden shifts into evening, a gentle glow begins to appear overhead. Suspended from a ring of woven twigs, jars filled with golden light sway lightly in the breeze. It feels as though fireflies have been captured in glass, casting a shimmer across roses and ivy that climb quietly around the frame. In this moment, the ordinary becomes magical. Creating a chandelier like this is less complicated than it looks. Begin by weaving branches into a sturdy circular frame, or bundle them into the shape of a star. Then, take simple mason jars or any recycled glass container, tuck fairy lights or LEDs inside, and hang them at different lengths with rope or twine. A touch of pastel paint on the branches, mint, lavender, or pale pink, adds softness and charm. And suddenly, you have a centerpiece that transforms your pergola, patio, or even a tree in the yard into a glowing fairytale retreat. The beauty is how adaptable it is. Hang one above a garden table for cozy summer dinners. Suspend it under a large oak tree to create a glowing canopy during twilight. Or place it at the heart of your backyard to welcome guests with warmth. The light it casts is not harsh or overpowering. It's soft, tender, and alive, dancing in harmony with the night. This chandelier is proof that magic doesn't always come from expensive fixtures or store-bought designs. Sometimes, it comes from twigs, jars, and a little imagination. And once it's lit, the garden around it feels transformed, not just a space to sit, but a place to dream. Five, rustic branch gazebo with seasonal flowers. In the heart of the garden, there stands a little sanctuary woven from branches and sunlight. At first sight, it feels like something lifted from an old countryside tale, its posts wrapped in thick rope, its roof a lattice of twigs that let beams of golden light filter through. Roses and marigolds spill their colors across the frame, while butterflies drift lazily through the air. Sit inside, and suddenly the world outside feels distant, softened by the fragrance of flowers and the hum of bees nearby. The beauty of a branch gazebo lies in its simplicity. You don't need perfect timber or polished materials, just tall rustic branches, twine, and patience. Begin with a hexagon or circular frame, tying the post securely. Then weave twigs overhead to form a natural roof, one that dapples sunlight and welcomes climbing plants like ivy, lavender, or sweet peas to embrace it over time. Add a bench or a few chairs, and it becomes a retreat, a place for quiet tea in the morning or a gathering with friends as the sun begins to set. Each season dresses it differently. In spring, garlands of daisies and wildflowers may twine along the beams. Summer brings roses in full bloom, while autumn drapes the structure in warm golds and russet leaves. Even in winter, bare branches against the cold sky tell a story of resilience and waiting beauty. What makes this gazebo so magical isn't just the design. It's the way it feels when you step inside, sheltered, embraced, and reminded that nature doesn't need perfection to be breathtaking. With a handful of branches and a little imagination, you can build not just a structure, but a living pavilion that grows and changes with the seasons, an ever-blooming heart of your garden. Six, dry branch pond frame with mini waterfall. There is something timeless about the way water dances over stone, soft and steady, creating a music that no human hand could compose. Here, a simple frame of dry branches, arranged with care and tied with patience, transforms into the boundary of a magical garden pond. Between the branches, some brush gently with pastel tones of mint and lavender, tiny ferns push through, moss thickens like a green velvet carpet, and dragonflies skim the surface as if they belong to another world. The effect is both rustic and enchanting, as though you have stumbled upon a hidden spring deep in the countryside. Building such a feature does not demand perfection, it welcomes imperfection. A few stones stacked into a gentle slope create the miniature waterfall, where water spills from one step to the next, shimmering in the sunlight. The sound is soothing, a reminder that gardens are not only to be seen but also to be heard. If you close your eyes, the trickle blends with birdsong and the hum of bees nearby, creating the soundtrack of a fairy tale afternoon. What makes this design magical is its accessibility. Anyone with a small patch of land can frame a pond with reclaimed twigs, old branches, or logs gathered from pruning. Pastel touches of paint bring a playful charm, while creeping ivy, thyme, or wildflowers planted along the edges soften the structure over time. Within weeks, butterflies will find their way to drink from the shallow edges, and sparrows will splash happily in the pool. This is not merely decoration, it is an invitation to slow down. To sit by the water, watch the ripples catch the sun, and feel as if you are part of something larger, something older. In creating your own branch-framed pond, you are not only shaping wood and stone, You are crafting a sanctuary, a pocket of magic where life gathers and time itself seems to rest. Seven, fairy swing from branches and colorful ropes. There's something timeless about a garden swing, how a simple seat suspended from a branch can carry both children and adults into a moment of pure wonder. When crafted from rustic twigs and painted with soft pastels, the swing becomes more than just a plaything. It transforms into a piece of living art, a fairy tale detail that seems as though it was always meant to exist beneath the tree's embrace. Imagine gathering dry branches, sturdy yet light, tying them securely with colorful ropes that not only hold but decorate. The ropes can be wrapped in flowers, fresh from the garden or dried for longevity, and ribbons in pastel shades that catch the light when the wind moves. The seat itself doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, its charm comes from a handmade feel. A coat of sky blue, soft lavender, or pale pink paint instantly gives it a magical presence, like a bridge between childhood dreams and a European countryside fairy tale. Setting the swing in a lush corner of the garden multiplies its charm. Beneath it, marigolds glow in summer light, lavender sways gently in the breeze, and butterflies linger as if invited by the colors. It's not just a swing, it's a gathering point of life, of bees, birds, and the laughter of those who sit upon it. A place to rest, to dream, or to simply sway while listening to the whisper of leaves above. The beauty of this idea lies in its simplicity. You don't need expensive tools or rare materials, just branches, ropes, and a little imagination. The real magic is how it turns an ordinary tree into the heart of a fairy garden, a reminder that playfulness and poetry belong in every corner of life. Eight, fairy lantern poles made of tall branches. As twilight begins to soften the garden, something magical happens when light and nature meet. Along a simple garden path, tall rustic branches are set upright, each one rooted firmly in the soil as if they have always grown there. With a touch of pastel paint, mint green, lavender, or pale yellow, the branches take on a new character, playful yet elegant. From their tops, lanterns dangle. Some mason jars filled with glowing fairy lights, others made from repurposed tin cans painted in cheerful coral or sky blue. Together, they create a procession of light, guiding the way as dusk turns into evening. What makes this idea so enchanting is how accessible it is. All you need are a few straight branches, jars or cans ready to be upcycled, and a handful of fairy lights or candles. A few pastel ribbons wrapped around the poles add softness, fluttering gently in the breeze. At the base, lavender, daisies, and creeping ivy complete the scene, blurring the line between handmade structure and natural beauty. As fireflies and butterflies appear at dusk, it feels as though the lanterns themselves are part of the living garden. This project proves that elegance doesn't require complexity. By arranging a row of lantern poles, you transform a simple walkway into something extraordinary, a path that feels like an invitation into another world. Whether you build just 2 poles to mark an entrance, or a dozen to form a glowing corridor, the result is always the same, a space where every evening stroll feels like stepping into a European fairy tale. Nine, twig mushroom sculptures in vibrant colors. Morning light brushes through the trees, and the garden suddenly comes alive with color. Nestled among the greenery are mushroom sculptures, crafted not by nature, but by hand, yet they feel as though they've sprung from the soil themselves. Twigs, branches, and simple wooden forms become the stems, while the caps are painted in vivid shades of red, blue, yellow, mint, and lavender, each sprinkled with white dots that echo the storybook toadstools we once imagined in fairy tales. Butterflies flutter and rest upon them, mistaking them for blossoms, while moss and ferns weave around their bases, grounding them in the forest floor. What makes these creations magical is not just their whimsy, but their simplicity. With twigs, a few rounded tops, sometimes even coconut shells, and a brush dipped in bright paint, anyone can bring a patch of enchantment into their backyard. In the soft hours of dusk, tiny fairy lights hidden beneath the caps glow gently, transforming these mushrooms into lanterns that light a garden path with warmth and wonder. Their playful colors mingle with daisies and violets, creating a corner that feels less like decoration and more like a secret woodland village waiting to be discovered. This is the beauty of DIY garden art. It takes what is humble and overlooked, and turns it into something that sparks joy and imagination. A cluster of twig mushrooms becomes not just an ornament, but an invitation to pause, smile, and remember that even the smallest creations can make a garden feel like a living fairy tale. Rustic branch sculpture centerpiece. When you step into a garden adorned with rustic branch sculptures, it feels as though nature itself has decided to play the role of an artist. See how the dry twigs, once forgotten on the forest floor, are gathered and intertwined into elegant towers and arches. A spiral centerpiece, painted with soft touches of mint green and pale lavender, rises gently among marigolds, roses, and daisies, while butterflies pause to rest on its curves. The golden light of late afternoon wraps the wood in a glow that makes the whole scene feel alive, as if you've wandered into a European fairy tale. Nearby, a whimsical archway crafted from twisted branches stands as an invitation to step further into this enchanted space. Some twigs carry hints of pastel coral and sky blue, bound together with rope, their bases softened by cushions of moss. Lavender sways on either side, releasing its fragrance into the evening air. Walking beneath this arch feels like crossing into another world, where imagination and reality gently merge. In the heart of a cobblestone circle, another sculpture rises, abstract yet graceful, its branches lashed together with rustic ropes. Pastel highlights in pink and sunshine yellow dance across the wood, while hidden fairy lights wait for dusk to reveal their glow. Encircled by beds of daisies and thyme, this structure becomes more than art. It is a living lantern, transforming the garden into a stage of quiet wonder. What makes these creations even more special is how simple they are to recreate. With dry branches, rope, and a touch of paint, anyone can bring this same sense of magic into their own backyard. And there you have it. A few simple branches turned into sculptures that make your garden feel alive with story and wonder. The beauty of these ideas is that anyone can try them, no matter the size of your backyard. If you enjoyed these rustic creations, please give this video a like, subscribe for more DIY garden inspiration, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which design spoke to you the most? I'd love to hear your ideas, and maybe your question will inspire the next video here on Backyard Fortune.